Oh, hi, it's me, the lady Miss VaginaJenkins, and it's time for Queer Astrology. It's also Mercury retrograde time. It's not a scary time. It's just a time to be slow and intentional and understand that sometimes when things break down or fall apart, it's an opportunity for us to revise and consider our plans more intentionally. Yeah, that's what I'll say about that. To that end, I spent the last couple of weeks of March pre-recording all of my April Mercury retrograde content because I knew that the time between April 1st and April 25th, when Mercury was in retrograde or is in retrograde, would be potentially a difficult time with communication, with technology, that kind of thing. And so I thought to get ahead of that by pre-recording all of my content for that time span. And then today, April 1st, where Mercury actually stations retrograde, I decided to reconsider that plan. So I spent the weekend revamping my website, and I just noticed that a lot of the astrology reading types and offerings that I had listed on my website didn't feel very clear. I think there was a lot of overlap between different types of readings, and I think that there was some astrology jargon used that wasn't necessarily communicating what I wanted it to communicate. So, in full Mercury retrograde fashion, I took the opportunity to reconsider, revamp my website, and, do some editing. And since it's on my mind, I thought to talk about all of the different sorts of astrology readings that I offer, what they mean, and I wanted to present them with an eye for understanding that there are so many ways to engage with astrology and to enlist the support of an astrologer that are not necessarily just centered on your natal chart. So let's talk about some of the astrology readings that I offer. The next type of reading that I offer is something that I call the North Star or Purpose reading. And this one is near and dear to my heart because it's actually how I became an astrologer. For me, like for so many other people, I came to astrology trying to understand who I am in this world, and who I am growing into be, and what my purpose in all of this life experience is. And it was through developing my technique with this North Star or Purpose reading that I sort of landed in understanding that I am meant to be a creative and that I'm meant to share my astrological knowledge. Even though I say that I am an astrologer, just as a shorthand, I actually very much consider myself an astrology student. And I very much think of myself as always gathering astrological information and trying to share what I learn with other people, because I know that it's a special interest of mine. I know that I have a way to break down complicated or convoluted concepts into everyday speech. And I understand now by looking at my astrology chart that that is part of my purpose in this world. Prior to coming to that understanding using astrology and these techniques that I developed for the North Star reading, I would have told you that my purpose in this world was to be a grant writer in the nonprofit industrial complex. And then 3 years before that, I would have told you that my purpose in this world is to be a sex worker and help people heal through their sexual trauma. I think that those previous iterations of what I felt like my purpose was were very much rooted in capitalism and very much rooted in the labor that capitalism not only required of me, but sort of funneled me into, if that makes any sense. Not to get too deep with it, but I sometimes feel like under capitalism, we don't necessarily get to choose careers. It's the illusion of free choice and free will as it relates to what you get to do to earn money, but that we are funneled into careers and job sites based on what capitalism needs and desires, and also what it expects of us based on our marginalizations. If you know, you know. And I say all that to say that this particular reading, this North Star reading, is for people who are interested in redefining what work can be for them. And so that's the kind of work that we do together when we are looking at this North Star reading. I look at the North and South node in your chart, your second, 8th, 6th, and 10th houses. I like to look at where all the planetary rulers of those various houses are placed in your chart. So I also like to look at the dominant planet in your chart, as well as the dominant element and modality in your chart, along with hearing your experiences of what fills you up, what pours into your cup energetically, and what doesn't and has not served you in terms of work in the past, and sort of put all of this together into a deeper understanding of like what your actual purpose and what you could be aiming towards would look like. That North Star reading runs for about an hour and 15 minutes. I sometimes get to talking. All of my time limits are kind of, loosey-goosey. I like to talk to a person for as long as needed, not necessarily be as long as capitalism says that we can talk, if that makes any sense. If we're doing really quality work together, I am not at all worried about the time limits of things. So yeah, the North Star reading is a really good reading if you feel either stuck in your career or you're in a place where you are transitioning between careers or between academia and joining the workforce, or if you're in a place of retiring and looking at the next part of your life. It's really good for understanding transitions. And I think that that's kind of my special skill as an astrologer with a lot of mutable placements, is helping people understand transformation and adapt to the ways in which life unfolds over time. Just wanted to offer up that information about how that reading works exactly, and stick around as we explore the other 7 readings. Also, if you would like to support this video, feel free to give a super thanks below. And if you want to support this channel and my capacity to offer up videos like this, consider joining the channel. Become a member of the Cosmic Cuties. You can check out the join button here below, and it shows you all of the membership levels and all of the cool perks that you get for being a member. As always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being part of my community, and thank you for making time for queer astrology. Bye, y'all. May the Mercury retrograde odds be ever in your favor.